There is a massive wealth shift happening in India right now. In the last 12 months alone, over 1.2 crore new investors entered the market, and they are all racing for the same compounding curve you are. The math is brutal. The first crore takes nearly 15 years of grinding, but the second one takes barely 5. If you don't bridge that gap now, the wealth divide in this economy is going to leave you on the wrong side of the math. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about not being the person who did all the work and missed the only part that actually matters.
You've been working for what, 3, 4, maybe even 8 years now? You earn a decent salary, you spend responsibly, or at least you tell yourself you do. You have an SIP running, maybe your PPF account gathering dust somewhere. You have done the right things. And yet, you open your portfolio one morning and it says 87 lakh rupees, and you think, okay, good. And then you immediately think, why does it feel like nothing has changed? You remember being at 10 lakh rupees and feeling excited. You remember 25 lakh rupees and thinking the crore was right there. And now you're at 87 lakh rupees and you feel flat, like you're running on a treadmill, like the finish line keeps moving. Here's the thing. That feeling is not a personal feeling. That feeling is math. And today I'm going to explain exactly why the first crore is genuinely the hardest rupee you will ever make, and why once you're past it, the second crore starts to feel almost unfair. I'm Rohan, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology of money, specifically why smart, hardworking people in India feel like they're always almost there but never quite arrive. If you're someone who's been grinding for years doing the SIP thing, avoiding lifestyle inflation mostly, and still feel like your wealth is barely moving, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps. It genuinely keeps me going. Alright, let's get into it. Let me start by completely destroying a myth you probably believe. The myth is, I just need to work harder and save more. Wrong, or more precisely, incomplete, and the incompleteness of that belief is what's keeping you stuck. Here's what most people don't realize. The first crore is not built by saving, it's built by surviving. Let me show you what I mean with actual numbers. Assume you start with zero. You're investing 20,000 rupees a month in a diversified equity mutual fund. India's mutual fund industry has been compounding at roughly 12 to 14% CAGR over long periods. So let's use a conservative 12% annual return, which, by the way, India's top flexi-cap schemes have historically beaten. Year 1, your corpus, 2.56 lakh rupees, that's 2.40 lakh rupees invested, plus a tiny 16,000 rupees in returns. You basically earned what a single month's SIP. Year 3, 8.7 lakh rupees, still feels like nothing. Year 5, 16.3 lakh rupees, respectable, not life-changing. Year 7, 26.8 lakh rupees. Year 10, 46 lakh rupees. Year 12, 63 lakh rupees. Year 13, 74 lakh rupees. Year 14 and a half, 1 crore rupees. 14 and a half years, people. 14 and a half years to get to 1 crore rupees. Now here's where it gets really interesting. After crossing 1 crore rupees, just maintaining that same basic 20,000 rupees SIP, not a rupee more, watch what happens. Year 16, 1.16 crore rupees, added 26 lakh rupees in 1.5 years. Year 17.5, 1.43 crore rupees, added another 34 lakh rupees in 1.5 years. Year approximately 19.5, nearly 1.9 crore rupees. Read that again. It took you 14 and a half years to make the first crore. It takes you barely over 5 years to make the second. That's not motivation, that's arithmetic. And yet most people give up somewhere around year 8 or 9, right when the curve is about to bend in their favor. They look at their 28 lakh rupees portfolio and think this isn't working. They tinker, they switch funds, they stop their SIP for 6 months because the market is falling. And in doing so, they forfeit the most powerful financial force known to humans, compounding's second half. Now you might be thinking, Rohan, I know about compounding. Everyone knows about it. The way everyone knows smoking is bad. Knowing isn't the same as experiencing, and experiencing compounding in its first decade is genuinely painful because of something called linear thinking bias. Your brain is wired to expect progress in a straight line. You invest 20,000 rupees a month for a year, you expect to see 20,000 rupees in returns. That's how salaries work. That's how EMIs work. Everything in your financial life is linear. And then you open a compounding chart and it looks flat for years and years, and then suddenly it goes vertical, and your brain, in its beautiful, broken way, reads the flat part as failure. This is not a small problem. India's mutual fund AUM has hit 82 lakh crore rupees in early 2026. That's 82 lakh crore rupees for anyone doing the zeros. And yet only 8% of India's population invests in mutual funds compared to 46% of Americans. Think about that. In a country of 140 crore people, with a booming economy, with digital investing literally one UPI tap away, only 8% are in the game. Why? Because the first 10 years look like nothing is happening. And here's the psychological trap that kills wealth: milestone blindness. You've been told that 1 crore rupees is the first milestone, so every day that you haven't crossed it feels like you're behind. That feeling creates anxiety. Anxiety leads to short term decisions. Short term decisions kill long term compounding. It's a doom loop. I want you to flip the script. Instead of asking, why haven't I hit 1 crore rupees yet? Start asking, am I giving the first crore enough time? Because here's the honest truth: the first crore is not a measure of your success, it's a measure of your patience.
Let me give you some context that will either make you feel very motivated or very urgently worried. Probably both. India's mutual fund industry crossed 81 lakh crore rupees in AUM in 2025 to 26, with annual SIP inflows surpassing 3 lakh crore rupees. That's 3 lakh crore rupees flowing in systematically every single year, from people like you, regular salaried people who decided to stay in the game. In February 2026 alone, active SIP contributing accounts stood at 9.44 crore and total registered SIP accounts crossed 10.45 crore. The same time last year, it was 8.26 crore active accounts. Nearly 1.2 crore new investors entered the system in a single year. And you know what that means for you? It means the competition for quality assets is increasing. It means financial sophistication in this country is going up fast. The people who are already at 1 crore rupees are now collecting the second crore at warp speed. The window to build your base without being priced out of the wealth equation is not forever. Now here's the number that should really get your attention. To be in the top 10% of wealth in India, you need a net worth of approximately 1 crore rupees. That's it. 1 crore rupees makes you top 10% of the wealthiest people in this country by net worth, which means right now 90% of Indians, including many people you know who seem well off, have less than a crore in actual net worth, property included by the way, is often calculated separately. That crore you're chasing, it's not just a round number, it's a genuine threshold. Okay, this is the section I actually love, because this is where it stops being math and starts being psychology. When people cross 1 crore rupees for the first time, three things happen, and almost nobody talks about them. Shift 1. The fear changes. Before 1 crore rupees, your dominant financial fear is, will I ever have enough? That's a fear of scarcity. It makes you check your portfolio 3 times a day. It makes you sell during corrections. It makes you try to time the market. After 1 crore rupees, the fear slowly shifts to, will I lose what I have? And weirdly, this second fear is actually less damaging because it naturally pushes you toward long-term thinking. You stop obsessing over month-to-month returns because you can see the machine working. The corpus itself starts feeling real. I have a friend, let's call him Vikram, who used to text me every time the Nifty dropped 2%. Bhai, should I stop my SIP? Bhai, the mid-caps are bleeding. After he crossed 1 crore rupees, I stopped getting those texts. He texted me once when the market fell 8% in a week. He said, and I quote, "Nice, my SIP is buying at a discount." Same person, two completely different investors. The only thing that changed was the number on his portfolio screen. Shift 2. Your money starts working harder than you do. This is the number that makes most people emotional when they really sit with it. At 1 crore rupees earning 12% annually, your money is generating 12 lakh rupees per year. That's 1 lakh rupees per month, passively, without you lifting a finger. The median salary for a mid-level IT professional in India right now is somewhere between 8 to 12 lakh rupees per annum, which means your invested corpus at 1 crore rupees is earning more than most people's salaries. And you don't have to code for it, you don't have to attend meetings for it, you don't have to ask for a performance review for it. This is the turning point. Before 1 crore rupees, you are the engine. After 1 crore rupees, your money becomes an engine alongside you. You now have 2 income generators, and the second one doesn't call in sick. Shift 3. You stop optimizing for returns and start optimizing for systems. This one's subtle, but it's huge. Before 1 crore rupees, most people are obsessed with finding the best fund, the highest return fund, the one that beat the benchmark by 3% last year.
So they switch and switch again and realize after 5 years that their switching cost them 2% annually in taxes, exit loads, and poor timing, which is sometimes more than the alpha they were chasing. After 1 crore rupees, the math becomes viscerally obvious. A 1% difference in return on 1 crore rupees is 1 lakh rupees per year. That's real money. So you stop gambling and start engineering. You pick 2 or 3 proven, boring, large cap or flexi cap funds, you automate, you ignore the noise, and ironically, by becoming boring, you outperform most active stock pickers in your WhatsApp group.
All right, enough theory. Let me give you the actual playbook. Step 1. Calculate your real timeline and respect it. Go to any SIP calculator right now. Put in your monthly investment, 12% return. See when you hit 1 crore rupees. Write that year down, stick it somewhere you'll see it. That date is your commitment date. Between now and that date, your only job is to stay in the game. Not to beat the market, not to find the next multi-bagger. Stay in the game. Step 2. Increase your SIP every year without exception. This is called SIP Step Up, and it is criminally underused. Most people set an SIP once and forget. But if you increase your SIP by just 10% every year, matching or slightly exceeding your salary hike, the math changes dramatically. 20,000 rupees SIP with 10% annual step up hits 1 crore rupees in roughly 11 years instead of 14.5. That's 3.5 years saved. At 12 lakh rupees per year in passive returns, that's 42 lakh rupees in passive income you weren't collecting from a 10% annual SIP increase. Think about that. Step 3. Do not let market volatility be your excuse. India's broader mid and small cap indices saw 20 to 50% declines in some segments in early 2026. People panicked, yet SIP inflows stayed strong, consistently around 30,000 crore rupees per month because disciplined investors don't let short-term market swings interrupt long-term commitments. The people who stopped their SIPs in early 2026 because the market was falling, they didn't just miss a month, they missed buying units at the lowest prices of the year, and they'll watch those same units double over the next few years from the sidelines. The market falling is not a warning signal. For a long-term SIP investor, the market falling is a sale. Step 4. Protect the corpus you're building. Here's something people rarely talk about. You're spending years building this 1 crore rupees machine, and then one medical emergency, one job loss, one family crisis, and you crack that corpus open and you're back to zero. 3 years of compounding, gone. But here's what makes it even worse than most people realize. When you redeem your mutual fund units in an emergency, you're not just losing the compounding, you're getting penalized twice. First, if you're redeeming equity funds within a year, you're paying 20% short-term capital gains tax on the profits. After a year, it drops to 12.5% LTCG, but the first 1,25,000 rupees in gains is exempt. And second, many funds charge an exit load of 1% if you withdraw within 1 year of investment. So in a panic, worst-case scenario, you lose a chunk of growth, you pay the government a cut, and you pay the fund house for leaving. That's a triple haircut on money you spent years building. This is why your emergency fund, at minimum 6 months of expenses sitting in a liquid fund or high-yield savings account, and your term insurance aren't optional. They are load-bearing. They are the firewall between your long-term corpus and life's inevitable surprises. Without them, you're one bad event away from starting over, and starting over at 40 is a completely different and far more brutal exercise than starting over at 25. Step 5. Don't confuse net worth with liquid wealth. This is the one that trips up a lot of people in India specifically because we culturally love property. But if your 1 crore rupees net worth is 90 lakh rupees in a flat in Navi Mumbai and 10 lakh rupees in liquid investments, you don't have a working 1 crore rupees. You have an illiquid asset and a glorified savings account. The compounding machine runs on investable assets. Real estate appreciates, yes, but it doesn't generate the kind of systematic liquid compounding that builds your second crore. Look, I want to be honest with you. The first crore is hard, not because the math is complicated. It isn't. Not because the tools aren't available. You can start or scale an SIP in minutes now with digital KYC and UPI autopay from wherever you are in India.
It's hard because it requires you to trust a process that looks boring and slow for years before it explodes in your favor. It requires patience in a world that celebrates quick wins. It requires staying when every CNBC headline is screaming at you to leave. And here's the thing, the people who make it to 1 crore rupees are almost never the smartest people in the room. They're almost never the ones who found the best fund or timed the market correctly. They are the ones who started and didn't stop. India's mutual fund industry has grown at 20% CAGR over the last decade with over 5 crore investors now in the ecosystem. This country is in the middle of the largest retail wealth creation event in its history, and that event doesn't care whether you're in it or not. The first crore hurts. It demands time you don't feel you have. It demands faith in a number that doesn't move fast enough. It demands that you sit with discomfort for years. But the second crore? The second crore rewards everything the first crore asked you to endure. And by the time you're collecting the second, you'll understand with perfect clarity why the people who gave up at 87 lakh rupees never got to feel what you are feeling. Start, increase, stay. That's it. That's the whole game. If you found this helpful, and I genuinely hope you did, hit that like button. It's the cheapest, most frictionless SIP you'll ever make. Subscribe for more of this kind of content every week. And if you have a friend who keeps asking, should I start an SIP? Send this video to them. That's your good deed for the day. I'll see you in the next one.